joining our conversation. Long title here, Coinbase Scaling Omnichannel Customer Experience Using Amazon Connect. My name is Connie Watkins, and I'd like to bring the team up that will be on stage presenting with me. I lead our sales and go-to-market team for Amazon Connect for the Americas business, supporting all of our customers in the US, Canada, and LATAM for Amazon Connect services. My background is a little bit more interesting. Like many of you in the room, I've been a technology and a business leader at a Fortune 100 insurance company, leading transformation, leading customer experience transformation, and a lot of the things that I worked on dealt with Omnichannel. So I'll share a little bit more about that as we get started, but I'll pass the mic to Alper.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alper Aras. I'm the Senior Director of Enterprise Applications at Coinbase, formerly an Amazon employee where I worked in customer service. Now at Coinbase, I'm working on both third-party applications as well as custom software development.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nikhil Govindaraj. I'm Senior Manager of Product Management at Amazon Connect. I have close to 20 years of experience in the contact center industry and really looking forward to sharing with you how you can use Amazon Connect for omnichannel customer experiences today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Asher Bramwell. I'm a Senior Specialist Solutions Architect here at AWS. I'm in my 14th year in the industry here, and I will be showing you the demo today.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started by talking about you guys that are in the room with us. So do me a favor, raise your hand if you support a business or an operations team or you're in product for your company. Raise your hand. All right, lots of hands going up. All right, that's about 40% of the room. Now raise your hand if you are a technology leader in your organization. All right, the rest of you guys, yeah. And some folks are on both sides of the fence, right? Business, operations, and technology. And the conversation we're gonna have today around omnichannel really spans the full spectrum. So I'm also gonna lead you guys through a quick exercise. So do me a favor, and if you have a pen and a paper or you're working on your phone, I want you to write down 3 numbers. 2010, 218, and 2.4. And you're probably wondering, where are you going with this, Connie? What do those numbers mean? So, 2010 was the year that omnichannel, as a marketing term, as a technology term, came to market. So, for those of you who've joined this evening, you've probably been working on an omnichannel strategy for a very long time. It is not a new concept. But what we're here to do tonight as a team is really walk you through what our vision is for omnichannel for Amazon Connect, where we've gone, what we're doing, and how we're delivering customer value back. 218. That's the number of releases for Amazon Connect that we've delivered this year. 218 launches for our customers, and as Nikhil gets up to speak on our vision and our strategy for where we're going, he's going to share with you 95% of what we bring to market comes from the work that we're doing with our customers. So that's the 218. And the last is 2.4, and this is probably the most important number to take away. In one short year, from 2023 to 2024, the number of bad interactions for customers leaving a brand has transitioned from 3.3 to 2.4. That just means that customer expectations are growing higher and higher. Again, I mentioned I was a leader at a Fortune 100 insurance company. I did a lot of work to transform IVR, customer experience, workforce management, and all of these things were so important in the orchestration and delivering great customer experiences. So before I turn things over to Alper, who's really going to dive deep into what Coinbase is doing to transform customer experience with Amazon Connect, I just wanted to show you how we're thinking about it. And this is where it gets exciting. Amazon Connect is all about one application and one seamless experience. We're truly delivering a multifaceted platform that delivers customer experience, and we're thinking about it from wherever our customers are starting, whether that's a voice phone call, traditional channel, SMS, text, voice, email, socials, and web. So across the entire ecosystem, we're thinking about this. And it doesn't stop there, right? We're really thinking forward on how we're going to deliver customer experiences in the future. And we'll be sharing more about that. So without further ado, I'm so excited to turn things over to Alper, who's going to share more about Coinbase's journey. Alper?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so today I'm going to share with you our journey of how we started working with Amazon Connect and how we transformed our customer service experience by onboarding our applications to Connect. So before I start, let me give you some background on Coinbase. Coinbase is the only publicly traded global cryptocurrency exchange in the world. It is the largest in the US by trading volume. The differentiator of Coinbase versus its competitors are, one, there's bar raising and world-class security threshold that we are applying, given the assets that we are holding on behalf of our customers. We have a desire to seek compliance and regulatory clarity, and once we get that, we have a desire to maintain that. And we always want to be on the forefront of simplified user experience since early days of inception. As of Q3, the quarterly trading volume for Coinbase was $185 billion, and our quarterly revenue was $1.2 billion. And we had 8 million monthly transacting users. And since the inception, the business model has evolved beyond retail crypto trading, which most of you are probably familiar with, to now include subscription services, institutional or B2B customers, as well as developer customers. Even though our business is evolving beyond traditional retail crypto trading, we are still very much dependent on trading volumes today. So most of our volumes are quite cyclical, tied to Bitcoin prices. And as you know, as Bitcoin prices increase, that also impacts all the altcoins that are coming underneath. So a lot of the volumes that we see are directly correlated with the prices that we see in the market. And that makes our business quite challenging because we have very unpredictable peaks and valleys in our contact experience, and we have almost no control on it. So that's one of the key drivers as to how we should be thinking about customer service and finding the right platform to be able to scale up and down. Prior to Amazon Connect, we worked with two vendors, one for telephony and one for chat. And we are still, and at the time we were also using Salesforce for case management. So we had a couple of challenges with the vendors that we had. Let me start with the telephony vendor. With the telephony vendor, we observed high rate of call disconnects. So roughly 15% of the calls were getting disconnected, either during the time that the customer was having a conversation with the agent, or even before the customer could connect to an agent. Secondly, when this issue was raised, we were getting little to no support from the vendor that we were working with. Unfortunately, the individuals that we were dealing with did not have the technical aptitude to be able to solve the challenges that we were facing. Next, the telephony service was never successfully integrated with Salesforce, which we were and we are using for case management. As a result, our agents had to access multiple tools, and they had to basically toggle between multiple browsers to handle contacts. And last but not least, the telephony vendor also lacked capabilities in terms of alerting, troubleshooting, tools that we could use for workforce management, which basically made both proactive incident detection as well as being able to handle our workforce planning more difficult than it should have been. When we think about our chat vendor, we had similar problems there as well. First of all, the platform lacked stability. We had significant disruptions. We actually had one major disruption per month in 2023. In addition to that, the vendor had a lot of scheduled maintenance windows. So if you add that up to the outages that we had multiple disruptions to our customer service operations in a given month. They had SDKs that we relied on to be able to build connections with Salesforce. However, these SDKs lacked stability, so we always ran into challenges. Technical documentation as to how we would work with this vendor was lacking, and similar to the telephony vendor, when we needed help, we did not get sufficient technical support. And as I think about both of the vendors, the challenge we had was contractually we were tied to specific volume commitments over time. And as I mentioned earlier, given our volumes are continuously going up and down, we had to commit to the largest expected volume. So we were actually overpaying versus what we were using. And sometimes, quite frankly, volumes were going so much higher that we were exceeding thresholds that we had signed up for, which meant even more expensive servicing for us. So financially, this did not work. Secondly, having multiple vendors and multiple interfaces made it very difficult for our agents to be able to use these tools in tandem. And because we had multiple vendors, getting the data we need from these contacts, reconciling them, and being able to drive insights were also extra challenging. Next, international expansion was another priority for us. And these vendors were missing the capabilities for us to be able to do this in a much faster manner. There were instances where we would basically be doing expansion to one market. However, we could not plug and play what we did for that market for the rest of the markets. As a result, it significantly slowed us down as it came to international expansion. In addition, some of the language capabilities or specific configurations we needed for a market were lacking when I compared to Amazon Connect. Last but not least, independent of these vendors, we were lacking the tools for voice of the customer insights. So we basically had our voice of the customer team listening to calls or looking at different chat transcripts to gather insights. We were lacking the real-time capabilities to be able to interfere with a contact when needed, or be able to, for example, look at times when the agents were pausing and drive insights from the quality of the contacts. So what did we do? We basically transformed our contact experience with Amazon Connect. So let me address how Amazon Connect helped us solve each of these issues that I talked about. The first one is by consolidating our telephony and chat experiences through an omnichannel solution with Amazon Connect, we had the biggest bang for our buck. First of all, the single platform provided these capabilities for us. As a result, we were able to get unified workforce management for scheduling, routing, and queue management. We had simplified development, reusable components that we could apply both for chat and phone. We had consistent analytics for also both phone and chat channels. Also, the Amazon Connect team provided us with a very strong technical team. So as we needed help, we were able to get the answers that we were looking for in a very timely manner. The platform was extremely stable. Since we launched Amazon Connect, we actually had no disruptions to our volumes. Also, the seamless integration with Salesforce enabled us to ensure that the agent experience was easy. So agents now, instead of having to go to three different tools, they were able to combine telephony and chat and just work with that and Salesforce. Plus, the system provided us with the right tools and SDKs that made ongoing configurations with Salesforce quite easy. Last but not least, the system provided the APIs for us to be able to drive alerting, monitoring, so that we could actually proactively predict potential issues that may come up, and we were able to resolve them before they became broader challenges for us. In terms of our ability to scale, everything I mentioned helped us go up and down. As the volumes went up and down, the system basically scaled with us, so we didn't really have any concerns in terms of how we would be able to address changing volumes. And our contractual agreement with Amazon Connect for us to be enabled us to use a pay-per-use model. So we did not have to commit to specific volumes, but we were basically paying for only what we use. So there was a significant financial advantage for us. In terms of international launches, Amazon Connect simplified the overall experience of getting into a new market. First of all, there are robust APIs that we were able to reuse for each market. We were also able to configure one market and then plug it and play it into other markets and just make some minor modifications to be able to address the specific needs of that market. There were rapid localization capabilities. We were able to provision phone numbers a lot faster than what we could do versus the prior vendor. And there was seamless and scalable translation services, which enabled us to be able to handle contacts in languages different than what the agents were using. In terms of the voice of the customer features, we started using Amazon Contact Lens. It allowed us to basically automate some of the voice of the customer processes that we had. We were able to detect insights live during the call, and we basically transformed a completely manual process to a lot automated process. So what were the outcomes as a result of this transformation? We were able to migrate our systems to Amazon Connect in about 2 months, and this is about 50% faster than the prior implementations that we saw with different vendors that we used. The other point I'd like to mention here is, given the highly secure environment that we have and the compliance-related requirements that we have, Amazon Connect was a very easy vendor to work with because once they passed the initial security bar, we were able to communicate in the same technical language, and it was a lot easier versus prior vendors for us to be able to get the internal approvals that we needed to be able to implement Amazon Connect. As a result, we launched Connect in 7 countries: US, UK, Ireland, Germany, France, Spain, and Brazil, in English, German, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. And we already handled multiple spikes. You may recall, if you're into crypto, there was a huge spike in Bitcoin prices in March. And that basically translated into a large contact spike for us. And right now, the market is quite hot. The crypto prices are going up. And we actually have no challenges in handling the contact volumes that we are seeing as a result. The other benefits of Amazon Connect I'd like to highlight are, it is not only easy for us to integrate with Amazon Connect, but as we use other vendors for different parts of our business, we are also able to seamlessly integrate Amazon Connect. For example, we have a third-party vendor that we use for quality assurance in our operations, and we had no challenges integrating Amazon Connect with that. The scalable architecture gives us a peace of mind as we anticipate higher volumes. And last but not least, the ownership of data, the data model at Amazon Connect is such that it gives us the direct access in our own premises to have the data. So when we need to pull up data for compliance reasons or legal reasons, we have the data at the tip of our fingers. Whereas with the prior vendors, we basically had to have a process where we had to go to the vendor and have them provide that data to us. In terms of what's next for us, the first one is we want to expand our use of workforce management capabilities with Amazon Connect. Currently, our primary use in scheduling, and as we expand the use, we are working with the product team to expand their capabilities in this area. The second one is we want to expand the use cases that we have with contact lens. So we want to get into, for example, driving product defects, product-related insights from the data. Third, international expansion is going to become a continued priority for us. So we are looking to expand faster, more quickly to more markets. So we will be leveraging the capabilities there. And last but not least, we are working directly with the architects as well as product managers in Amazon Connect to explore how we can customize and provide a single pane of glass experience for our agents through some of the capabilities that Connect offers to us. So that's our story. That's how we got to where we were, to where we are today. And I'm going to hand off to Nikhil to talk about some of the launches.
Well, thank you, Alper. Thank you for sharing your experience at Coinbase. As a product manager, nothing gives me more joy than seeing a customer stand up here and share their experience and success with what we've been working on. So thank you again. So I wanted to give you a sort of deep dive perspective into how Amazon Connect can help you deliver incredible omnichannel experiences. But before I get into the details of that, I wanted to give you a quick perspective to show you how fast we innovate at Amazon Connect. We launched in 2017 as a global telephony provider with a web-based application for agents to handle calls. And since then, we've rapidly evolved the platform into a full suite of capabilities that allow you to engage customers on their preferred communication channel. As Connie mentioned, we're on track to launch close to 218 features this year. More than 95% of what we build is based on customer feedback. And as with Amazon Web Services, you can pick and choose your journey. You can pick what features makes most sense for you, is all pay as you go, and it provides you the most amount of flexibility. And we've got a lot coming in 2025 as well, so stay tuned for that. When we think about how we can empower you to meet customer expectations, from an omnichannel standpoint, we think about it from sort of three perspectives. The first is, how do we make it easy for you to meet customers where they are, right? When customers have an issue, they might pick the phone, they might go to the website. Our vision is to make it so easy for you to checkbox enable the right channels to meet customers where they are. We also want to make it easy for customers to go across channels. Nothing is more frustrating for you to repeat yourself when you go from IVR or to speaking to an agent, or from a chatbot to a chat, or even from chat to voice. It is the most frustrating experience, bringing the agent up to speed. This is the third time I'm talking about it. And the reason why this is seamless is because it's all built from the ground up. It's a single platform, and so we can connect the dots so that so that your customers have a very seamless experience. The second component that we think a lot about is around automation. The easiest way, the lowest customer effort is self-service. So we want to make sure that you have a consistent self-service experience that you can offer customers across touch points. And if self-service doesn't work, or if you want to offer that human touch, you can provide all of that context seamlessly to agents so that they can resolve that particular customer issue. The third pillar is around personalization, right? You can't really meet customer expectations if it's not tailored to that individual customer, one-on-one. And so being able to understand the customer context, understand the customer background, their purchase history, their interaction history, and make that easily available in a way for agents to serve the customer is what we really believe in. Once you know your customer, then you can take the next step and be proactive, or you can send them an outbound notification to let them know of something that they didn't even know that they had to deal with, right? So that is where we believe experiences truly become magical and differentiated. So now let's kind of like zoom in, right? Like we're going to go from 10,000 to like 100 feet, and I want to walk you through a customer journey, right? Now, a lot of these things, like I mentioned again, these are all optional components, right? You can pick and choose your adventure. It's all pay as you go. It all scales, like Alper mentioned, right? You can manage your peaks and valleys very easily with Connect. So let's start as a customer. You're a customer, you have an issue, you're going to pick up the phone, you're going to go to a digital channel, you might go on your mobile application. We deliver a complete set of communication channels across voice and digital to help you meet your customers where they are. Whether it's SMS, chat, email, video calling, web calling, third-party messaging applications like Apple Messages for Business or WhatsApp, it is all available natively within Amazon Connect, checkbox enabled. Tasks help you route any work item to agent, right? So even if it's a work item for the back office, you can easily bring that into Amazon Connect, you can automate it, or you can route it to agents. The orchestration layer, that's where the magic happens. Because with Connect, you can design once, and you can make it work across all channels, right? So if you go with voice first, you can create your flows. Flows is our drag and drop customer experience builder. You can design the end-to-end customer experience with flows. You can enable chatbots or conversational AI experiences, generative AI-powered experiences, and all of that applies unifiedly across voice or digital channels. This is also where you can create these cross-channel experiences. So for example, if the IVR wait time is let's say 30 seconds, you can offer customers the option to switch from voice to SMS and continue the conversation on SMS, and all of that voice context, the IVR context, is sent through to the digital channel so that the customer doesn't have to repeat themselves and agents have full context. The campaigns is how you can create your outbound communications. So this allows you to trigger campaigns based on events that customers might do on the website, based on purchase history, and that can be orchestrated across voice and digital as well. So a unified platform. And if the customer issue is not resolved and it gets to an agent, agents have a single pane of glass experience where they can handle the customer issue, see the customer context, see generative AI-powered summaries of previous conversations. Amazon Q and Connect provides generative AI-powered self-service capabilities both for customers as well as for agents, and tools like step-by-step guides make it really easy for agents to automate workflows, guided processes, all within that single pane of glass experience. The data layer, you own your data, like Alper mentioned. You can use the data to build your own analytics. You can use the data to provide the unified customer history. Customer profiles is where we pull all of the data about the customer into that single entity that lets you power personalization for self-service, for outbound campaigns, for agent views. And then From an analytics and insight standpoint, Alpa talked about the voice of the customer. You can use our out-of-the-box real-time analytics, your historical analytics, agent performance, workforce management. The list goes on and on. So there's a lot in here, but remember that these are all components that you can pick and choose. It's entirely up to where you are in your digital transformation journey. Now let's sort of talk about, we talked about 218 releases, right, this year. I wanted to give you like a sampling. These are the new launches that we've made. This is a really exciting time for us at Connect, right, because we've been working for years over some of these new capabilities. So it gets me very excited as a PM to stand here and go, look at all this cool stuff. But this is just a sliver of what we've launched over the last 2 weeks. And I've sort of organize them by category. So in the category of making it easy for you to meet customers where they are, we launched email as a native channel a couple of weeks ago. This makes it really easy for you to now pull in from your mail server, from websites, and it goes through the same flows component that I talked about earlier, agents, analytics, routing, automation, all of that just seamlessly fits in for email, the new natively supported channel. This one really excites me, WhatsApp, because I WhatsApp my family in India all the time, and now we support WhatsApp business messaging natively within Connect. So what this means is, regardless of where your customers are, you can offer them a button on mobile apps or on websites. It opens up the WhatsApp application. And it's just like adding another chat interface that makes it easy and seamless for customers to engage with you, except that they are on WhatsApp. Agents have a single pane of glass experience where they can handle WhatsApp in addition to voice, chat, tasks, video calls. All of that seamlessly flows through the entire application. Nothing is more frustrating as a customer if you're chatting chatting with a company, with a brand, and then you need to make a payment. But oh no, we can't do the payment in chat. You got to go to a web form, you got to sign in, or you got to call. With the latest feature of being able to easily collect sensitive customer data in chat, we make it really easy for you to be PCI, PII compliant. None of the data is stored within Connect in the chat logs, in the chat transcript, and you can now enable inline transactions within chats. And the last feature in this category is around callbacks. We all know callbacks, yeah, makes it easy for customers. You don't have to wait, keep your place in queue. The enhancements make it even easier for you to offer callbacks. For example, you can send an SMS message to customers when it's their time to get a call, to remind them. Based on the customer feedback, you can then reprioritize the queue dynamically. You can do things like automatically create callback requests based on the chat message or based on tasks. So as you can see, all of these channels can be woven together for you to create really differentiated customer experiences without any heavy lifting on your end. Let's talk about the second category of self-service and agent empowerment. Today, we integrate with Amazon Lex for conversational AI chatbots or in the IVR. You can detect intent, you can automate routine queries, you can collect data and present that to your agents. We've made this extremely easy to do. Yesterday, we launched the ability for you to create these experiences right within Connect. Single pane of glass experience for managers to create these conversational AI experiences. Not just that, you can also now add Amazon QIC generative AI-powered capabilities into your self-service experiences right within Connect. You can understand how your bots are performing. You can drill down and understand which ones are not performing so well, make the updates right then and there. And so all about making it more efficient, more seamless, more easy for you to improve your bot performance over time so that you're doing continuous contact deflection. Tasks, like I had mentioned a little while ago, help you automate work items. Our customers tell us that agents can spend up to 50% of their time on routine work items, right? It's following up on stuff, it's waiting on information from a back office, it's updating customer data. There's a lot of post-it notes that you have to rely on to make sure that you get these things done. Tasks help you automate all of that. You can create tasks, you can route them, you can prioritize them. It works just like any other channel within that single panel of glass experience for agents. The new enhancements to tasks make it even more easier for you to manage tasks. For example, you can set up customizable SLAs, you can extend the expiry of tasks to up to 30 days, and agents can now self-assign tasks to themselves. Let's talk about the last category around proactive and personalization. We are really excited about this one. So with outbound campaigns, the new announcements that were launched 2 weeks ago, you can now create outbound campaigns over voice, SMS, and email. You can create your content, your templates. You can create audience segments based on customer profiles. And the nice thing about campaigns is that they run on customer profiles that can be updated in real time. Customer comes to your website, adds something to their cart, doesn't check out. You can update your customer profile and then trigger a campaign. So it's like running an evergreen campaign all within Amazon Connect. We are really excited to launch enhancements to Amazon Connect outbound campaigns. And what we launched yesterday was the ability for non-technical users to use generative AI. You can just type in plain English the segment you want to build. I want to send this message to all customers who ordered more than $1,000 worth of stuff last week, right? In plain English, you can write your segment criteria, and generative AI takes over, creates a segment. You can create a campaign. We also provide you insights into your customer profiles data that lets you then make even more targeted outbound campaigns. So there's a lot in here. We would love to chat later about more specifics. But without further ado, I'd love to pass the ball now to Alper to walk us through a demo. Thank you.
Cheers. All right. Welcome to the demo portion of the show. I'm going to walk you through some of the omnichannel capabilities of Amazon Connect, which has been built from the ground up as a scalable omnichannel solution that allows your customers to reach out to you using the channel of their choice and enables you to reach out to your customers using the channels of their choice. To do this, we're going to use two personas. The first one is Nikki. Nikki is a customer of Any Company Financial, and she has recently been promoted at work. She's going to be traveling more, so she wants a credit card that will earn her miles and also give her benefits such as lounge access. And John. John is an agent at Any Company Financial, and they use Amazon Connect for their omnichannel solution. So let's get started. And the text is quite small. Don't worry, I'll point out if there's anything important that you need to read. Nikki is browsing the Any Company Financial website on her phone. She has found a credit card that she would want, the Premium Travel Rewards card. But she has a few questions. She doesn't know the difference between miles or cashback, and she's concerned about her credit score, which is a bit low. She scrolls to the bottom, and she sees that they support Apple Messages for Business, WhatsApp, and also in the bottom right-hand corner there, you can see web chat. So she decides to reach out through WhatsApp. It loads the native WhatsApp app on her phone, and she is presented with a default message. This message is entirely optional and completely configurable. So you could change this message depending on which page somebody was launching WhatsApp from. You could also not include it and just have the customer enter their query or their question and have an AI-backed Lexbot determine their intent and help them. This instance, Nikki will send that default message, and she will get a personalized response back from the Lexbot. Went by quickly. You can see it greeted her by name, and then she sees a rich message there with a picture and a quick response section. She taps the Premium Rewards card, which is the one she's interested in, and now she's given an FAQ list picker to help her answer her questions. She taps the FAQ option, and she sees that there's a rewards versus cashback section. So she taps that and clicks send. And the AI-backed Lexbot is going to answer that question. This could all be integrated with Lex and Amazon Q. She gets the answer to her question about cashback versus rewards, but now she wants to know about her credit score. So she goes back into the something else menu, and in the FAQ list picker once again, she is going to select suggested credit score. She taps that, sends it through, and the bot is going to give her a response. The credit card generally requires an excellent score, and they recommend that she speak with an agent if she would like to apply for that card. So that's what she does. She's going to chat with an agent. She taps that option, and this interaction is going to route to John, our agent. What you can see here is the standard agent workspace for Amazon Connect. If you look on the left-hand side, that's the contact control panel. That's where a phone call will come in, an SMS will come in, or that WhatsApp chat. In the middle is a dynamic view. That is currently showing customer profiles, which contains all of the information about your customers, their contact history, and it can also be integrated with your sources of customer data. So you could use multiple connectors to tie that into different sources of customer data and then unify them into a single object so your agents have all of that information available to them. When an interaction comes in, that screen is going to change and show step-by-step guides, and I'll talk about that in a minute. On the right-hand side, you have Amazon Q. And Amazon Q is like having your best agent always assisting your other agents. It's tied into a knowledge base, and it listens to your phone calls and your chats in real time and suggests answers to the agents to help them with their jobs. So Nikki's WhatsApp interaction is going to come in. Here we go. Nikki's WhatsApp interaction has arrived, and John is going to accept that. You can see that the screen there in the middle has changed, and it's now showing step-by-step guides. These guides are a way for your agent to handle workflows where they previously had to use a different application. So John could actually help somebody apply for a credit card without ever leaving Amazon Connect, or sign somebody up for a financial monitoring program without ever leaving the screen. On the left-hand side, John also has access to the entire chat history with the Lexbot from WhatsApp. And now I'd like you to focus on the right-hand side of the screen, the Amazon Q side. So Nikki's about to tell John that she only has a credit score of 750, and she's not sure if she will be eligible for the card. And Amazon Q is going to pick that up in real time and offer a suggestion. Here we go. So Amazon Q has detected that Nikki has asked a question that it knows the answer to. John is going to click that intent there, and it's going to generate an answer for John. You can even see, it's very small, but it's used 750, which is exactly what Nikki had mentioned in her post. All right, so it's recommended that Nikki sign up for the financial monitoring program because the credit card requires an excellent score. But John doesn't know what that is. So he is going to explicitly ask Amazon Q what the financial monitoring program is. So he's asked, and it has generated an answer. It's a program that allows customers to enroll in credit monitoring, and it provides them with tips on improving their credit score. So he is going to ask Nikki if she would like to enroll. And of course she does. He uses a quick response here to send a message about the program to Nikki. And she is going to say that she wants to join. John is going to use the financial monitoring step-by-step guide to enroll Nikki into this program. So you can see he's opened it. It has Nikki's details. And because she's already a customer of any company financial, we already had their details. And she has been successfully enrolled into that program. That is the end of their interaction for now. But 2 months later, Nikki receives an email from any company financial congratulating her on her credit score increase. She is now eligible for the Premium Rewards Travel Card, and Any Company Financial is encouraging her to apply. This was sent by Amazon Connect outbound campaigns, and a campaign manager generated the customer segment for this using natural language and just asking, find all customers who had a credit score increase that makes them eligible for this specific card. And she was automatically added to that campaign, and she was sent this email. So Nikki applies, and she's approved. 2 weeks later, she receives an SMS from Any Company Financial. This is another outbound campaign. She should have received her card and activated it by now, but she hasn't. And Any Company Financial is reaching out to make sure that everything is okay. Nikki hasn't received her card, so she's going to respond that there is an issue. And the AI Lex bot is going to ask her if she wants to chat with an agent. Any Company Financial could handle all of this within self-service, but they've decided that new customers should speak with an agent if they have issues with their credit cards. So this interaction is going to route back to our agent, John. Again, you can see the agent workspace here. It looks exactly the same as it did before. And Nikki's SMS is going to come in. It looks exactly the same as it did for WhatsApp. He has the same guides. He has Amazon Q there, and the same chat interface. Now, again, I'd like you to focus on the right-hand side because Nikki is about to tell John that her credit card hasn't arrived, and Amazon Q is going to generate a suggestion for John to help him with the situation. So Nikki has said, my card is missing, and Amazon Q has detected this. John has clicked that intent, and it is guiding John on what he should do to help Nikki with this case. So he needs to use the deactivate missing card flow and then send Nikki a new card. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to let Nikki know that he will help her out, and then tap on the deactivate missing card flow. This one's a little more complex than the last one. He's going to launch that and specify that the card was lost or maybe stolen. Specify the card because we have that information from Nikki's customer profile. Ship it to her home address, and then overnight it, and click submit. And that's it. Nikki's card has been expedited to her, and it's on its way. All right. 2 months later, 3 months later, Nikki is traveling for work. She's in Santiago, Chile, and she had a transaction that was recently declined, and she doesn't know why. She opens the Any Company Financial app, logs in, and sees a notification. She sees that, yes, she did have a transaction declined, and she opens that up and sees it was due to insufficient credit. At the bottom of the screen there, you can see a Call Us button. So this is in-app calling. And Nikki, being overseas and not wanting to pay roaming charges, will use that when she's connected to her hotel Wi-Fi. So she taps that button, and you can see it brings up the call controls. So this could route to an AI-powered Lex bot or to a standard IVR to the agent. In this instant, it's going to route to our very busy agent, John. So he receives that interaction. You can see it looks exactly the same. That phone call is going to come in on the left-hand side. Our in-app calling also supports video calling. It's 2 a.m. in Chile, and Nikki doesn't want to be on camera, so she doesn't activate that. So the video is disabled. You have access to the same step-by-step guides, and Amazon Q will still listen to this conversation even though it's voice-based. So the real-time transcription will be in play here, and it will offer suggestions in the exact same way that it did for the WhatsApp and the SMS chat. So Nikki is currently explaining to John that she had a transaction declined due to insufficient credit, and she's asking if she can increase her limit. Amazon Q has listened to that, picked it up, and it's given the suggestion to John for how he can assist. So he's going to launch the increased limit flow. Go back, that was very quick. Okay. He's going to launch the increased limit flow, and he's going to select a few options, specify the limit increase amount, and it was approved. So Nikki is approved for the increased credit limit. And that's it. That's the end of their interaction. Nikki has an increased limit. She can carry on with her trip in Santiago. At the end of this call, John actually has access to a transcript of both sides of that conversation as well. All right. Final slide. This is just a view of an agent who has 4 active interactions: an Apple Messages for Business chat, a web chat, an SMS, and an email. You only need to build out your infrastructure once. You only need to build out your step-by-step guides once, your Amazon Q integration with a knowledge base once, your agents once, and all of these interactions can use that shared infrastructure. And that's it. Thank you so much. Back to you, Connie.
All right. Thank you so much, Asher, and thank you, team. Just want to say thank you to all of you again for joining our session tonight, staying a little late. I saw everyone taking a lot of photos, some video. We're excited to have a dialogue on what we just went through with you all. At the end of this, we'll come down to the stage. You guys can approach. We'll have conversations. We'd love to continue after this session as well. And if this wasn't enough Amazon Connect for you, we have a lot more sessions coming up tomorrow and Thursday. Please take a picture. A lot of breakouts and talks where we'll go deeper and dive into different topics. So again, thank you. It's been a pleasure talking with you this evening, and we'll be downstage. Thank you.